Those big doors are stepping stones for small corridors.
Obviously, the skateboarding industry is like a very core industry.
When I was growing up, I was like very core skater dude.
Core is a term used quite a bit in skate culture, but what does it truly mean to be core? I recently reached out to my audience as well as some of my YouTube skateboarding contemporaries to get a feel for what core skateboarding means to them. In this video, we're going to use these examples to do a deep dive into what it truly means to be a core skateboarder. We aren't born skateboarders, we are created. And while this culture we know and love today is such an integral part of our lives, it wasn't always that way. We were introduced to something along the way which threw us on the path toward becoming a skater. John Hill talks about this in an interview with Aaron Cairo, and while you listen, note anything that sounds familiar, as I'm willing to bet that his story is very similar to many of ours.
How did you start skateboarding?
Well, I was playing this video game that some people have never heard of called Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Really?
1. I started skating because of a video game.
Now listen to Tyshawn Jones speak about how he got into skateboarding.
Me and my brother, we were at our cousin's house and they had a bunch of video games and we wanted one, but we didn't want to ask them because they would say no. Yeah, we stole the games and then we went home to play the games, and one of the games happened to be Skate, which is a skateboarding game, not the Tony Hawk one. It's just called Skate.
Just a generic joint.
And that's how I learned about skateboarding, just playing the video game.
Tyshawn Jones and John Hill are two very different skaters. Essentially, they're on opposite sides of the culture, so to speak, but they're tied together by a video game. So stepping stones are the first impression a non-skater gets to skateboarding, but what are the attributes that will later make them a core skateboarder?
Yo, what's good, bro? I appreciate you reaching out to me for this video. Hope all is well. To me, I'd say a core skateboarder is just somebody who approaches skating the more traditional way, filming street parts, watching full-length skate videos, supporting their local shop and skater-owned brands, which are undeniably all good things. I don't think being a core skater is a bad thing, but I don't think there's a right and wrong type of skater. You know, we're all doing it for the same reason, because we're having fun.
So at first, when I was thinking about this question, I kind of thought like core versus not in my head really just applied more so to people that are trying to like make it or like make a living off of skateboarding. So
shout out to Local Joe and Brian Arnett for sending over video answers. So I first want to start with Brian's answer. Brian brings up a point that he associates the core skateboarder with certain attributes. So street parts, or a core skateboarder has grown up their whole life watching full-length skate videos, running in and out of their local shop, getting flow products, things like that. He attaches to being a core skateboarder, kind of coming up in the skate culture. And this was my first idea as well as to what a core skateboarder was and my personal thought about what it was. Local Joe, in his answer, which is a little bit longer, we'll get into it, he initially talks about this as well, where core skateboarder at first glance seems like it is just a 2D term to describe someone that is way deeper into skateboarding than any of us ever will be.
Would I consider myself a core skater? Probably not, and not for the fact that I have a YouTube channel, but more the fact that like I grew up on the social media side of things. Majority of the content that I grew up consuming was not really traditional skate videos. It was more of just YouTube skate vloggers, and I just don't really be in the streets like that. Like the skaters that I would consider core, like they bleed that, you feel me?
I really resonated with Brian's answer as I found myself thinking back to how I got into skateboarding. So in Local Joe's answer, we see him start to dig deeper in the video and start to search for an answer outside of kind of that first inclination that I had or Brian had about what it means to be a core skateboarder.
all through high school, I played soccer. Like it was my whole life. So in my head, I was a soccer player. So somebody that's like a core skater is the same way. We think about skateboarding like nonstop. When you have nothing to think about, where do your thoughts go? And if your thoughts are constantly going to skateboarding, skateboard brands, like I think if your brain is just obsessive about skateboarding, that makes you a core skater.
So I have to level with you guys for a second. If we go back to Brian's answer, that is really where I was going with this video. And then I started listening to Local Joe's answer. And then I got Ben DeGro's answer. His response legitimately changed the direction of this whole video. It completely switched my mind on how I even viewed the term core skateboarder. So I'm going to read it here in its entirety first. I don't necessarily identify with being a core skater. I am, however, a skater to the core. It has shaped who I am through my formative years. I see the world in a way that only another skater can understand. I am many more things than just a skater, but it helped create who I am today. To me, a core skater is a lifelong skateboarder who continues to skate how they want to regardless of trends. If they are physically capable of skating, they will. The desire to skate never leaves them. This is what core skating is to me, so yes, I am a core skater. Regardless of how I might dress, who I might vote for, or what else I believe in, I share the desire to skate for as long as possible with my fellow core skaters. After reading that, I kind of sat to myself for a moment and really just thought, all of this stuff we talk about and discuss, it has its place, but core skateboarding isn't clothes or shoes, steez or sponsorships. Skateboarding is who we are at the core. It influences our decisions, builds our character, and it drives us to be different people entirely than when we started. No matter how much a skateboarder sells out or how gnarly they get in the streets, we're all cut from the same cloth. If you make the decision every day to wake up and do something as hard as skateboarding simply for fun, I think that makes you a core skateboarder.